The central tenet of Judaism. What is the central tenet of Judaism? What do you think? Perhaps the first commandment, I am the Lord your God who took us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. What does that mean? Number one, there is a God. Number two, God gave us the Torah. Number three, God is active in our lives. But still, how does that explain our interpersonal relations? Which aspects of Judaism are still left out of that first principle? Well, Hillel, he said, what you hate, don't do to your friend. The rest is commentary, go learn. But how does that explain our relationship with God? Says Rashi, God is your friend. Don't do to God, your friend, what you would not want done to you. How about the last of the 10 commandments? That covers many different commandments. Don't desire the house of your friend. That, therefore, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't murder, to get other stuff from your friend. But how does that cover our relationship with God? Love your neighbor as yourself. Rabbi Akiva says this is a major principle in the Torah. But how does that relate to our relationship with God? Ben Azai says, this is the book of the generations of man. That's a greater principle. Perhaps he alludes to the image of God. You're created in the image of God. And if you're in the image of God, then our relationship with every person is also part of our relationship with God. There's a midrash brought by the Ein Yaakov. We don't know where it's from. And it introduces 3, some of which are new. Ben Zoma says that love, hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. That's a major principle. What does that mean? Ben Nana says that loving your neighbor as yourself, again, is the major principle. And Shimon ben Pazi says something strange. The one sheep in the morning, one sheep in the afternoon. That, the daily offering, that is the major principle. And the Rebbe said that that is the halacha, that's the main law. What does that mean? Well, let's look at each one. The Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Well, it sounds like we're talking to God. But, say the rabbis, maybe we're talking to Israel, otherwise known as Jacob, telling our father, Jacob, don't worry, we believe in God like you did. We're connecting to God and connecting to our ancestors. What's this rule of the Shema? What about the rule of the sheep? How does that relate to all of Judaism? Well, let's think about it. Then there's another mitzvah to do what is right in the eyes of God. So in other words, says the Talmud, if orphans lose their home to the creditors, if they ever get their money back, give it to them. Give them back their home after 20 years, after 10 years. Because we want to do what's right in the eyes of God. In other words, when we do what's right with people, it's what's right in the eyes of God. In general, says the Torah in Parshat Shoftim, be whole with God. Tamim tiyeh Hashem Elokecha. Do all of it with God, with people, whole package. So how do these principles relate to all of the mitzvot? Well, if we put the first commandment with the 10th commandment, we get it all. I am the Lord your God who took us out of Egypt covers our relationship with God, and don't desire your house of your friend relates to our relationship with people. And after all, why are there 2 tablets? And why are they next to each other? Love your neighbor as yourself. Maybe we can juxtapose it with loving Hashem, your God. These are 2 sides of a coin. We should love God, and we should love. And the image of God, well, that means that when we relate to people, we relate to God. And when we relate to God, we can relate to people too. As we said, what you hate, don't do to your friend. Rashi told us it means not only your friend, but also your Father in heaven, your friend in heaven. And one sheep in the morning, what has that got to do with people? Surely it's good to worship God with consistency every day and every night. But what's that got to do with people? The answer is that daily offering in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem was brought by every Jew. It connected every Jew one to another because everyone gave a half shekel every year to contribute to the daily sheep. So the daily offering connected one Jew to another, and all the Jews got it. And why did Moses drop both tablets when we only sinned against the first or second commandment? Because all the commandments relate to each other. It's a big package. As it says in Proverbs, know God in all of your ways. As it says in Psalm 16, Shiviti Hashem anedi tamid. I am always with God 24/7. What is the major principle of Judaism? It's a principle which could connect both the interpersonal and the relationship with God. In a word, B'chol drachecha da'ehu, know God in all of our ways.
Rabbi Akiva, Zeka Gadol Batayra.